Hi Taurus, I'm going to do a self-love tarot reading. These are general readings, so if it doesn't resonate with you this week, come back next week. Maybe I can help you. These are self-love readings designed for spirit to showcase areas where we might be letting ourselves down, or areas we could be more authentic with ourselves. Part of self-love is accepting parts of yourself, and you can't accept the parts of yourself that you won't acknowledge. This is a 6-card spread. And the 7th card will be a message for spirit. I shuffled a little bit before we started, but 1 or 2 more can't hurt, right? Okie dokie Taurus. Let's get started. In this first position, it's going to be how you feel. In the second position, it's going to be something that spirit wants you to prioritize. In the third position, it's going to be something that spirit wants you to acknowledge. Maybe something that you're aware of, but you put on the back burner. And spirit says, nope, now it's time to deal with that. In this fourth position, it's going to be something that spirit wants you to acknowledge, to be more authentic with yourself. In this fifth position, it's going to be something spirit wants you to let go of. In this sixth position, it's going to be something spirit wants you to acknowledge. And like I said, this 7th card is going to be spirit message. I will be clarifying with the Shamanic Healing Oracle deck. It's beautiful. I will show it to you as we go. All right, Taurus, let's get started. Extremely great. This is awesome. Taurus, I always have really good readings for you. I wonder if you have any self-love issues at all, honestly. In your, how you're feeling right now, Taurus, the universe has shown us the Emperor. Somebody's feeling really badass, like all in their power. This could be somebody who's also a little bit stubborn. Do you see those rams on his chair? Those ram's heads. Yeah, this could be somebody who's kind of stubborn. This could also be somebody who's really in that energy of like my way or the highway. I'm so sorry. I don't even know where that came from. This Emperor. He doesn't want to talk badly about. The Emperor could be somebody who's my way or the highway. And not because the Emperor is like a mean person, but the Emperor has done like every single thing he could possibly do to get to where he is now, and he's in a position where he's in charge. So why would he listen to you? Why would he accept your ideas? Why are you even talking to him? Oh, get away from me. I don't know if that's you, Taurus. That's me, though. I used to think that one day I would be Supreme Overlord Empress, and then everyone would have to do exactly what I said. Because I know better. I know best. So Taurus, right now you're in really good energy. Something the universe wants to prioritize is this universe. Interesting. The universe wants you to prioritize the universe. You should do that, though. Do you ever like just sit around and like contemplate how many good things have come to you, Taurus? I'm not saying that's what the thing is saying. I'm just saying that the universe says to contemplate the universe, and then I'm like, maybe you should think about the universe. Do you ever think about the universe and what it does for you? No, you probably just only ever think for yourself. Just teasing. But do you ever just sit around and think about all the amazing things that the universe has given you, or things that have come into your sphere, and how lucky you are to have them? That's a great way to contemplate the universe and to showcase gratitude. We should always have an attitude of gratitude. But what this card signifies is a doorway, a portal. Something's coming. The thing about doorways, Taurus, is that they're only ever opened or shut. But the universe can't force you to walk through a doorway. That portal is there for you to acknowledge and to decide if it's for you. So the universe is telling you right now, there's a doorway, a portal, something available to you. Prioritize that. Prioritize your feelings about that. Do you want to go through the door? What's coming for you, Taurus? I have never... Oh, I did. I had this in one other reading. There's so many cards, and I do so many readings, but I don't always see all the cards. I usually get kind of very similar cards lately. But this I've only seen once. I'm really sorry. This was not a problem a second ago. In this position that Spirit wants you to deal with, this is 5 of Cups. It's disappointment. Taurus, how can the Emperor be disappointed? Disappointment. I feel like if the Emperor was disappointed, he wouldn't be disappointed in himself. He's the Emperor. I don't think he'd be disappointed in other people either. I think he would have picked the right person for the job. Well, let's keep going. In the position that Spirit wants you to acknowledge, there we go. That makes a little bit more sense. We're going to have to clarify because I'm not getting like a joint story from this. But in this position that the universe wants you to acknowledge and showcase to be more of your authentic self, we have the Queen of Swords. This kind of makes sense because if you think about what I said about the Emperor, that Emperor is not somebody who usually says, hey, what do you want to do? The Emperor is usually somebody who says, come over at 7, I have plans. But the Queen of Swords now, she's a lot more level-headed, she's a lot more patient, and she's a lot more fair. I would not think that she's more just, because the Emperor, like, he's not, like I said, he's not a mean guy. Like, he just knows everything. So if something bad came up, he'd be like, how would I deal with this? And then he would make a split decision. But the Queen of Swords would be like, something bad came up. I shall hear out every party, and I shall make a decision anon. Yeah? Like, she would hear somebody out. But the Emperor would be like, you knew the rules, bud. So, you are in this Emperor energy of like, I'm in charge, I understand things, I'm, my way or the highway. What the universe is saying is that you need to get in a little bit more balance with that fairness, bud. The universe is saying, okay, you can be on your throne, but like, hold your sword aloft, Oh, her sword is up, traditionally in the tarot, because she hasn't yet made her decision. If she puts it down, you're out. So she holds it up. Then she puts it face down like that, then you're okay. In this position that Spirit wants you to let go of, is the debauch. Maybe there's a lot of passionate energy in your lives right now. So this is the 7 of Cups. And they are intertwined. Like, look at them. There is a lot of heat going on. There is a lot of passion. Maybe this is a sense of disappointment that you had, Marys. Maybe. Well, I think I am getting some kind of download. Hold on. What I'm thinking, Aries, is that maybe you have to let go of this sense of passion. And maybe that's what you're feeling disappointed in. Keep in mind now that the Emperor is not alone. Yes, in the cards he is depicted as alone. But who completes him? The Empress, right? And the Empress is the embodiment of the divine feminine, and the Emperor is the embodiment of the divine masculine. Individually, they are strong and they are powerful, but they are both missing something important. Each other. So the Emperor has all of this ability. He has overcome all of these things. He has internalized all of his lessons. He has learned everything he was supposed to learn. And now he has the ability to use that experience to make actionable choices. He will put action into things. He is the Emperor. He's in charge. And that's great. You always need somebody to make tough choices. I don't want to be that person. Not me. So the Emperor. But then you have the Empress. And she completes him. Or complements him. That's what it is. Compliments, okay? She is also somebody who has been through all of these experiences. But instead of externalizing them and turning them into actionable abilities or things like that, things that she can do, she internalizes them. And so she can understand what's going on inside of her. The more she understands about what's going on inside of her, the more she can understand what's going on inside of other people. And in that way, she rules with the heart. They need each other to balance out, to create balance, to create harmony. What is the word I'm looking for? Unity, right? So if you're in a relationship with somebody, Taurus, and you're disappointed because you're feeling like you have to let go of this person or let go of the passion that you have for this person, and you're very much in that my way or the highway energy, it could feel like you're losing something. But maybe what you have to change, maybe this doorway is coming through so that you can be more fair. It's incredible to find somebody that you want to be with. And it's incredible to go through experiences that have led you to a place where you can be with somebody. But if you want to be in a relationship, Taurus, then you have to also be willing to give. in Christianity or in church, we talk about the 2 cups, right? You have your cup and your partner has their cup. The cups need to be equal. What is it? It's not equal. The cups have to both have love in them, right? That's your water. If I pour into you, so at the end of the day, you come home and you're very tired, and even though I went to work, I had a long day also. I came home, I was a little bit early, and I put something in the oven. When you get here, food is just ready for you. It's like, it's just ready. And you're like, damn, I feel so lucky. That's me pouring into your cup. If, you never do anything nice for me or pour back into my cup because you're just sitting there thinking, I'm the emperor. She should be pouring into my cup. Well, then my cup becomes empty. And if you're not going to fill it for me, well, I'm going to have to find someone else to fill my cup. That's kind of what I'm getting from this reading, is that this my way or the highway attitude has led to disappointment. And you have to deal with that disappointment by going through this portal, deciding for yourself to be more authentic, to be who you want to be someone who is successful in relationships or friendships or anything like that. You're going to have to be this person that pours back. The Queen of Swords would pour back. She would if she found that it was beneficial to her, right? So the whole situation, Queen of Swords, she was at work all day. She made food for her partner, the King of Swords. She pours into him. And the King of Swords comes home a few days later and he's like, I just thought that was really sweet of you, so I bought you flowers. She pours back into him. Well, now, because their cups are even again, she's going to sit there and think, okay, well, proportionately, I did something nice for him and he did something nice for me. I will continue to pour into his cup. However, if the Queen of Swords came home from a long day of work, she made her king some dinner, poured into his cup, and then he was just like, gee, thanks, babe. That Queen of Swords in the future is not going to continue to pour into his cup. She would have thought about it. She would have thought about, that didn't seem fair to me, or just, or balanced. So I'm going to take my cup somewhere else. If you're in this position where my way or the highway, you might not be pouring back. If you want to have a long, healthy, successful relationship with somebody else, you have to pour back. In academics, we call it like an emotional battery, right? So at the beginning of the day, your emotional battery is kind of full, probably like somewhere about 75%, because I don't know about you, I wake up tired anyway. And then you deal with people and that battery gets depleted. But when you have positive interactions with people, that battery gets filled up some more. Yeah, it's totally a tangent, off subject, but we're going to go with it. I was having this really, really shitty week once. I think it was my first year of a master's program, and we had finals, and those are 400 word essays per answer to a 12-page test. I was in a really shitty place, and I was mainlining coffee like it was air. I'd actually brought my coffee pot from home. I was drinking coffee all day long, so I was irritable because I wasn't getting enough sleep. I was irritable because I had so much work to do, and then I was irritable because I wasn't even being healthy with myself. I was in a really shitty mood. And I ran into this random lady, this super random lady. I was in a rush. I was moving from one class to the other. I have things to teach. And she just had this blanket. And she was like, hi, hello, how are you? And I'm like, busy. The fuck do you want? And she was like, well, we have this blanket. And we're just going around and getting people to sign the blanket. And we're calling it a unity blanket, because we are all actually one person. And so for every person who signs the blanket, you're just proving that you're part of the rest of us. Now, initially, I just come from teaching a class. I don't need your bullshit right now. But then I thought about her concept, and she is right. We are all one. We are all connected. And so I was like, all right, fine. I'll have 5 seconds and I'll just sign my name. And then I signed my name, and as I'm signing it, she's telling me stories about all these people that she's met and who people have signed. And yeah, okay, I was a little bit late to my class, but I came away from that interaction with my cup so full. So full. It was crazy. This lady was crazy. But all of the things that she was saying, she was reaffirming to me my connection to the universe, which I was severely ignoring at that time, because all I could think of was school. School tends to put a really high demand on your time, and when you're a master's student, that's like even more time. And then also I was doing teaching on top of that. So like literally in a day, I probably had about 6 hours to myself, and I chose to use those for sleep. So I was in like this really just very like self-absorbed situation. And this lady who didn't know me from anything, probably didn't even recognize that I was having a bad day, probably had no idea what I was going through, but she came to me and she was like, hey, you're part of something bigger than yourself. You're part of all these people. Look at all these people who want to be connected with everyone else. And my cup was like, my emotional battery was just full for days. Like legitimately, it lasted a while. I was in a really good space. That's the importance of that emotional battery. That's the importance of that emotional fill up. Pouring into somebody else's cup, having a healthy relationship, being healthy in yourself. It's, I mean, like, as people, right? We're humans. If we're not like getting something out of the situation, there are a lot of us who will continue to push. But for the most part, like, we want that interaction, that reciprocity. I love that word, reciprocity. In the position of what the universe wants you to acknowledge, this might be something that you're aware of or not aware of, but the universe is saying, babe, you're in ruin right now. How can you be this emperor and then literally be in ruin? Oh. Okay. So I would look back at the traditional tarot deck, the Ten of Swords. I always think of it as an ego death because there's no one else in that picture, right? It's just you with the swords in your back. And I always think about an ego death as like polishing a rock, like a really nice gemstone or like a geode, right? The more of those outer rough edges you get away or you peel away, the more that gemstone shines through. So I always think about an ego death like that. It's entirely possible that right now, Taurus, you're in this ego, sense of ego, where you're just like, I'm not fucking shit. I'm not making any exceptions. But there's a situation that really does want you to make an exception. And even in the future, like, you should learn to make exceptions. Because if I want my emotional battery to be full, Taurus, then I'm guessing that you also probably want your emotional battery full. And the Emperor can, I mean, he's not somebody who pours into somebody else's cup. You see what I mean? He's not emotionally giving. He can be if he has the right partner. But I'm thinking that you also want to be given too. But if you are like, excuse me, I'm the Emperor and I only drink out of gold goblets, they're not going to pour into your cup. They're going to be like, oh, mine's made out of wood. I'm sorry. I'm just a peasant. Okay? So I think right now, you're going to go through this ego death. I think the universe is telling you, hey, this Emperor is great. I'm really glad you got there. But we're going to need to bring it down a few pegs. Just a little bit, okay? Because what happens to the Emperor is when he's leading, when he's on his throne, when he's paying attention to what he actually needs to focus on, his Empress will just find him. It's so exciting. I don't know if you found your Empress right now. I don't see that. But I do see this disappointment in love. And it could be because you're not willing to give out, to put out. Self-love, a lot of people, like, you follow any of these things on Instagram or like YouTube and stuff, and it's all about you, self-love, loving yourself, and that's totally true, except that 97% of the time we are not alone. We are surrounded by other people. Ew. I just don't like that. I don't like that at all. When I lived in Hawaii, there were 1.2 million people in 600 square miles. There was always somebody next to you. Now I live in Missouri, and you know, the nearest person is like 20 feet from me now. That's amazing. It's so amazing. I see that this Emperor energy is great. It's 100%. It's where you want to be. But we got to tone it down a little bit. Universe is, you know, if you're in this Emperor energy, that's great. That really is. That's top tier. It's just like making smaller adjustments. Taurus. I hope we meet. I really do. I really need more Taurus in my life. So we said right now, you're in this Emperor energy, but there's this portal coming and you feel this sense of disappointment. And I really think that has to do with being less emperor-y and more authentic with yourself, and being more fair with other people around you will allow you to be more of the emperor that you should be. there is this ego death coming, so I feel like a lot of that Emperor is going to get stripped away. Oh, I'm so sorry. And I feel that way because of the Fool. Look at that. Taurus. This is so exciting. This is like an adventure. This is like excitement. This is literally exciting. I think personally that it would be much, much easier to develop into the Emperor and then pull back a little bit than it would be to slowly creep up on the Emperor status. I'm like, oh, am I there yet? Am I there yet? Am I there yet? No. I passed that and I'll just rein it in. It's so much easier to rein in. This looks really great. So let's go ahead and clarify, Taurus. We're going to do it quickly because, I mean, I feel like this is pretty self-explanatory. I'm going to use the Shamanic Healing Oracle deck, and they are beautiful cards. Okay, so we said for this Emperor, how you be feeling? How you be feeling, Taurus? Hey, Taurus. You feeling good, man? Probably not because you got the death card. That was actually pretty good. You got the death card, and I think the death card is going along with this Emperor energy because there is like this new stage. Please don't think that I am trying to crap on your Emperor. I am not. The Emperor is a good place to be. It is a really good place. It's a good person. It's very, very satisfactory. It's very good. Molto bene. I don't know if that's pasta, but it sounded right. But I think that the Emperor just needs a little less Emperor. You know, just a little less like my way or the highway. And that death is coming. It ushers in new beginnings. This reminds me of on The Lion King when like there's like, you know, Scar's taking over the Pride Lands and everything's dead. And then Simba comes back and then there's that one rainstorm and it just like washes away those skulls and those bones and then everything is fine again. This reminds me of that. You're the Pride Lands coming back into spring. I wonder who watches these, honestly. You must be so tired of me. The universe is saying that there is this portal for you. Now, okay, so here's the thing. That you're in this overly assertive Emperor energy. The universe wants you to pull that back, and you're going to have to go through an ego death. I'm really sorry to get there. Those are always kind of uncomfortable, but you're a better person in the end, so I'm not really that sorry. But the universe is saying that that is an opportunity. The portal doth wait for you. It's open, yawn. Will you go through the portal? Will you decide this for yourself? That you do want to be somebody who is open and willing to give back. If you want that Taurus, it's available for you. I like that a lot. That's so good. I hope you do, because I would take that portal. Look, the circle is reminiscent of that portal already, and it's saying, bruh, it's all good. It's all good, bruh. Yeah, this is gonna work out for you. Oh, okay. So we had the masculine in your position of like how you're feeling, and this portal, this doorway is all good. And the clarification for that portal is this feminine energy. Now the Emperor is divine masculine, so I think this portal is going to bring you in touch with more of your emotions. Yeah, okay. So if you're the Emperor, you're someone who's not like really deep into their emotions. But if you're dealing with somebody who's emotional, wouldn't you want to get to know them better, get to understand them better? You can understand them better when you get to understand yourself better. It's a paradox. So I do feel right now, so maybe what happened is that because you were in this Emperor energy, you did lose out on something, and that's why you have that sense of disappointment. I've been getting the hiccups. I'm like, I don't know why. I think it's too much water, or like, I'm not sure, but hiccups, I'm sorry. This disappointment, right? So maybe you were in this energy, something didn't work out, and now you're disappointed. Universe wants you to acknowledge that disappointment and to like deal with that disappointment. Okay? And the best way to deal with that disappointment is saying, this is how things went before. I didn't like how that worked out. This is what I felt. This is what I experienced. And in the future, if I feel those things or I experience those things, I'm gonna move away from that energy sooner to protect myself and to protect the other people that I'm involved with. That's self-love. Self-love is really just reestablishing habits and patterns that we've learned our entire lives, where we give away little bits of ourselves every day. Self-love is learning how to get back. That's what the Emperor needs. He needs to get back all that love. He's such a sweet man. But I think that this disappointment was necessary, because if you didn't notice like you not getting enough, then how would you eventually give enough, right? So it's going to bring this movement into balance. It's going to bring in, this portal is going to bring in this sense of feminine energy, which is you getting in touch with how you feel. That's a movement into balance. So we see there's this clear night, and then there's all these emotions down here. If you were fairly emotionless before, Taurus, don't rely on that, because it won't last. Psychic developments. For me, that's not mind reading. For me, that's your intuition. Okay? The more we come into contact with our feelings, the more we come into contact with what we want, the more we're in contact with our intuition. So if you go up to somebody and you're just like, hi, I'm Bob, and they're like, hey, I'm Pat, and you're like, no, and you don't know why, that's your intuition. No. Ew. Thank you, but no. So if the Emperor was in this position where he wasn't very feely or allowing himself to feel feelings, then you would not be in a sense of intuition. In fact, every time we shut up our intuition, we lose a little bit of it. I mean, we don't lose it, it just dims, just goes away. It's like, my right eye is like, I'm legally blind. I have to wear my glasses when I drive and stuff like that. My doctor told me a long time ago that my eye has an astigmatism. And so because it's so weak, my brain basically just stops listening to it. I lost my glasses for 3 months once. It was the worst. I almost hit like 800 people while I was driving, because I literally have to have my glasses. And then when I got my glasses back, when I got my new ones, I was having headaches all the time. And my doctor told me it's because your brain is having to readjust. You were basically just walking around like this before, and now your brain is saying, oh, I can actually see through this eye, so we're going to readjust how we see. I feel like that's your psychic ability, right? Your intuition. The less you use it, the less your body's going to acknowledge it. The more you use it, the more you'll have. He said to get out of this masculine energy, not masculine energy, get out of this Emperor energy and to be more fair, more balanced, more into your intentions, or into your feelings. And with that comes a sacred space. Whenever I see this card, I always think retreat. I always think just a little bit of time away. Maybe just, like a daily retreat. Maybe every, at least once a day, you have like your room where you have a space where you just go and you're just by yourself for a little bit. Sit and think how you feel. You gotta let go of the anger, okay? There might be anger that's keeping you from being fair and just. Anger is a fair emotion to feel. You can feel anger if you're upset. You just can't let anger stop you from doing things, okay? We said the Spirit wants you to let go of this debauch, this like pleasure, this like emotional entanglement. And that's going to be an inner journey. Yeah. Releasing people, or releasing love, or releasing feelings of love is like one of the hardest things to do. I think because love affects your soul. Yeah. But you're going to find abundance, like material abundance, okay? That's going to come from letting go of this this emotional entanglement. I'm not really sure what that is. Your reading didn't really cover a lot of it. I just get the sense that like maybe something did go wrong. Like you were in a position and then something went wrong. And this is you trying to rebuild after that. We said that Spirit wants you to acknowledge this ego death. It's going to be slow and steady. You're going to come out on the other side, but it's going to be full of emotions. It's going to be kind of a hard thing to do. It usually is. It doesn't feel good. But it's going to be the truth. It's going to be more you when you're done with it. By the end, you'll be like your authentic self. That's amazing, Taurus. And then we said you had this Fool as your spirit message. So you're going to come through all of this. And then in the end, there's going to be like this exciting new beginning for you. That's so exciting. Yep. Letting go. You're moving away. You're going to step off that branch. You're going to start out on this brand new journey. I like that. Good job, Taurus. It's going to bring you joy. Joy and butterflies. That's amazing. That's so amazing. At first I was kind of concerned. I was like, Taurus, how are you going to be alone forever? But now you're not going to be alone. You're going to integrate all of this. You're going to learn from this lesson. And then in the future, the relationships you have are going to be a lot more give and take, more reciprocal. And it's going to be because you chose to. And that's beautiful. That's a choice. Whoever comes into your life next is going to be super lucky, Taurus. Maybe not next, but like next, or like 1, 2, 3, like the third person after all of this, probably going to be really, really good. Because you'll be like good and healed by then. And then you'll have also have had time to like put this stuff into practice. Perfect. It's going to work out real well. I'm not predicting the future. I'm just like guessing. Okay, so just to recap, Taurus, you're in this Emperor energy. The Emperor is good. You just need to pull it back a little bit. The Emperor can be somebody who doesn't like to give as much as they get. And now you're going to learn to give as much as you can. We're going to go through this ego death. It's going to be kind of hard. You're going to have to release some kind of disappointment. And you're going to make this choice. But the choice is going to bring this ego death, which is going to move you to like a new position. And you're going to have like this new beginning. And that looks incredible. Taurus, I'm very happy for you. I hope this helped. And I would love it if you had a good day.